Ice5 writes, I was watching your review of The Winter Soldier earlier, and you mentioned that it didn't feel like a superhero movie, but instead a film about a hero. I realized that that idea is used lots. All of the best superhero movies seem to be described as not feeling like a superhero movie. Why does the term superhero movie seem to have such negative connotations?
I disagree completely. I mean, in my personal opinion, the first Avengers film is the greatest superhero movie ever made, and it is most definitively a superhero movie. It absolutely is. If you look at Iron Man, that's a superhero origins movie. If you look at Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, definitively superhero movies. I don't think there's any negative connotation with that. I think one of the things that Winter Soldier did, though, it wasn't because it wasn't so much a superhero movie and it felt more like a movie about a hero, is that it was just a different change of pace from what we've been seeing in a lot of the Marvel stuff coming out so far. Even Man of Steel, as much as I love it, that is definitely a superhero movie. There's nothing wrong with that. It was just one of those things that stuck out to me. When I came out of watching Winter Soldier, I was so floored by the quality of that film and just how great it was, that it was in conversations with people who said, we went, you know what, thinking about it, it didn't even really feel like a superhero movie per se. It felt more like a movie just about a man who is a hero. And that was neither a negative or positive thing. It was just a really interesting thing that added another layer to that already incredible film. So I personally don't think there's any negative connotations about that. X-Men Days of Future Past, superhero movie. Spider-Man, superhero movie. Avengers, superhero movie. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Shep, what do you think?
No, I agree. And I think the reason Winter Soldier was used as like, it's not a superhero movie because it had like this thriller aspect to it. Let's no bones about it. It's a superhero film. There's a Falcon flying around, Arnim Zola. There's a computer guy talking. I mean, every single 5 minutes, there's a superhero.
Nikki Styx is in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm saying, there's some hair metal about to explode inside of Winter Soldier.
Check that out, Tommy.
I'm in my rotating drum machine. Falcon's flying through it. No, I mean, it's a superhero film. It just had elements of a 70s thriller. Just like all the other films are like, hey, let's add a little this flavor, that flavor. Winter Soldier successfully did it. And why it felt so different than all the other Marvel films to me is it did not have like a big bad villain that didn't really add up at the end. It actually had humans as the villain, as S.H.I.E.L.D. being Hydra. So that was the big villain of the end, was actually something that's tangible and not like, like Thor the Dark World, like a weird elf that grows really big and disappears at the end. Just like, why was he even in there? Sort of not the greatest villains. Marvel's had a few issues with like, not delivering on like the villain.
Yeah.
But Winter Soldier, it really delivered.
Yeah,
so.
and you were going against the government for a majority of that movie. And you're doing normal people things like they go to the mall and they have to drive to Jersey. And so when you have something like the Avengers, it's so much more bombastic and exciting and explosions and aliens and all that kind of cool stuff. But superhero movies, I think, get a negative connotation still to this day simply because people assume that they're made primarily for kids, for adolescents who just want to go into some fantasy world where that's not the case at all. I mean, we're all
that's called porn.
Adults, which is what I'd like to talk to you about now. Welcome to the lounge. It's called Rocket Raccoon. Different kind of movie. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's still definitely a superhero movie, and superhero movies are cool.
Shared universe, Rocket Raccoon and Rocket Robin Hood.
That's what we need.
That would work. I'd sign that up.